YouTubers, it's Smoking X77. Again, coming to you from the downstairs. Finally, we will do the video I wanted to do. I've been delaying this video for a couple days now, just because it's going to be very complicated, and I thought I'd try my best to delay it until I was ready. Anyway, this video is going to be part 2 in the Myths series. Is nicotine more addictive than heroin? Wow, that's a pretty big question. Well, first off, let me define nicotine as a drug. Disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, not a scientist, not a professor. Okay. Nicotine is a stimulant similar to caffeine or, sugar or cocaine, but not as strong as cocaine and stronger than caffeine and sugar. It gives you a pleasurable reaction in the brain, whether you're sniffing it, smoking it, or chewing it, or holding it between your gums in tobacco form, because nicotine is found in tobacco. It stimulates the brain and releases dopamine and serotonin in the brain, just like sugar and caffeine, and will give you a little bit of a buzz, or what people refer to as a high, and will relax you and will make you feel better. Just like with any drug, it can be addictive. You can develop what's called dependency over time, sometimes over the course of weeks, months, years, decades, or more. So, this is a good thing to keep in mind if you're a pipe smoker or cigar smoker. Even though the pipe and cigar tobacco doesn't have the same chemicals as cigarettes do, or chew or dip, there is still nicotine in pipe and cigar tobacco. There's nicotine in all tobacco. So, keep in mind that. So, when you choose to become a pipe or cigar smoker, know you are ingesting nicotine, which is a psychoactive drug. So, know your risks. Obviously. Nicotine also, just like caffeine, constricts your blood vessels. So, depending how fast it's getting into your bloodstream. Now, if you're smoking and inhaling, it's going to come into your bloodstream very fast. If you're sniffing it, not as much. If you're chewing it, very slow. So, enough of the medical stuff, honestly. Okay. Now, the question is nicotine more addictive than heroin? Let me define heroin. Heroin is actually a synthetic version of morphine. It's a stronger version of morphine that was developed in the 1870s, I want to say. Heroin is usually injected into the arm or legs through an intravenous needle, or can be snorted and smoked, just like cocaine. Heroin is a depressant. It makes you feel very low, and I've never obviously tried it, but it's a very powerful drug. So I would never try heroin. It's dirty. But anyway, so the question we're going to answer is nicotine more addictive than heroin? Some people would say yes. Why? Why would people say nicotine is more addictive than heroin? Well, it really comes down to the point where you ask, how often does a person use a drug? So, for heroin, for example, disclaimer, I'm not a drug rehab person, I'm not a drug specialist. Anyway, average person who uses heroin might use heroin 3, 5, even 10 times a day, 12 times a day for heavy users. However, the average cigarette smoker ingests the drug nicotine anywhere from 10 times a day to 30 or more times a day. That's the argument of why nicotine is more addictive than heroin, because you feel the need to ingest it more often. Every half an hour you need to ingest a cigarette. When you smoke a cigarette, that's ingesting a cigarette. Um, what about pipes and cigars? Well, wait, before I do that, chewing tobacco and dip. Even though you might not use it as often as, say cigarettes, you may only use it 10 times a day versus 30 times a day. Snuffing or, dipping tobacco 10 times a day can deliver the same amount of nicotine to the body as smoking 30 to 40 cigarettes. So, dip and chew contain between 3 and 4 milligrams of nicotine, which is quite a bit more. So, now how about pipes and cigars? Well, pardon me. Well, let me say first of all, most pipe tobacco is very low in nicotine. Doesn't have much in it. It doesn't have chemicals usually, so it's not going to be the same buzz effect. Most people describe pipe tobacco or cigar buzzes as different than cigarettes. Less of a head rush, because there's less ammonia, there's less chemicals in it, so it's going to feel a little different. Some people love it and will, like it. Other people really don't like it. But back to the question. Is nicotine more addictive than heroin? The answer to that question is cigarettes are more addictive than heroin, and chew and dip may be more addictive than heroin, maybe. But pipes and cigars seem to be far less addictive than cigarettes and other drugs. So that's the answer. Anyway, peace out, bye, see you guys later, and thank you for watching Dr. Evan. Peace out, bye.